Good morning, Modified family. We're back out here in the cold, back at it. This is a long-awaited video here at the Honda Library. So my 96 hatchback has been down for a while. It had spun a bearing, so we pulled the motor, replaced it with a housemate's B18c that we had lying around. So I ran that for a while I slowly and methodically rebuilt the old GSR motor that's in there. It's a B18c. Not a Type R, but I was like, you know what, why not? Why isn't it? And I avoided things like going for an actual poor man's Type R where you take a B16 head and put it with a GSR bottom. I just said, why don't I take this GSR, change the intake manifold, change the exhaust manifold, change a bunch of the internals to copy the Type R, so I wouldn't have the same combustion chamber, but I could get pretty close. And so I did it. It came together beautifully. Finally put it in, ran it, had zero oil pressure at idle. So ended up shutting it down, opening up. There was some metal in the oil, which turned out to be, I think, not only the new cams breaking in, but also some of the main bearings wearing out. So we're gonna replace all that. So if you give me 5 on my black hand side, we're gonna end up taking all this stuff apart that we need to put the new stuff in. I would like to have this motor together. I don't plan on starting it today, but I'd like to have it all in one piece so it can come off the jack stands. That would make my heart happy. So here we go. If you can't find the right tool in this garage, we'll just go to Harbor Freight and get some more. I just need some more sockets. I love these are color coded. Make them harder to lose. I'll still lose them and hopefully easier to find. But some of the parts we need, this is for a different project. I had to order a bunch of stuff. This is for my, what's this for? Oh, this is for my B16, the burnt valve. When we opened up, we have to rechange this. This is for my other GSR because it is leaking oil like a sieve, only through the oil pan gasket, which is a relief. Ooh, that's a little more bent than I'd like it to be, but it should work. And then this one is the one for today. They're actually the same, exact same number. But this one, I need this for my GSR product today. Here are the main bearings, the ACL race ones that I'm going to put on to replace the ones that are worn from the low oil pressure. And here is the bell of the ball, the main thing, the oil pump. When my bearing spun the first time, I didn't realize that my oil pump had taken a crap. So got a new oil pump, got a new O-ring, a new gasket for the oil pickup. I just need to take off everything else, and I need to dig into my collection because my oil pump before is not this style. This is a P72. It's meant to hold the crank angle sensor, which I'm not going to use, but it has a different orientation down here than the standard one that I have on there now. I have like an older version, and so I will see if I have this cover. So I need to make sure I have my full covers because we're in California. Spotters haven't completely taken over. Everything's still clean and been covered. The hood's been closed the whole time. I have my gloves from last time. You can see the not compression, but the oil pressure tester that gave me the bad news. So we're gonna go under there. Oil pan's already off. Girdle is already off. That piece right there, that brace. And the oil is drained. So it should be pretty dry in there, but I need to get the crank pulley off. I need to get this lower timing cover on, and all this is going to be done while this is still in the car. So this is going to stay in here, and I will just be doing it upside down. So wish me luck. I feel like we're making good progress. Busted out the giant impact. This is the same one you'd use to change the tires on big rigs. I used to actually do that. That's not why I had this one. This was actually an accident that we made work. You can see how custom the tip is, because it took too many extensions to get down to what we needed. So Zero just welded it on there. So took the valve cover off because the timing belt's coming off. I will loosen the tensioner once I get this cover off, which I'm working on next. I took the belt off the alternator, just hanging there safely. As we drop down here, I got that crank pulley off, came off no problem. Made sure to retain the key so I don't lose it. I'm gonna set this somewhere so I don't drop it, because this should go back on today. I want this as together as possible. This is one of the beautiful things about working on your own car is this. I didn't know this was happening. This has only ran for a little bit, but these have definitely run their course. I'm not going to replace the boot because it's so cheap to replace the whole thing. So this will get fixed, hopefully get it all together today because I have all the parts for it. But this will not get fixed today, but I will fix it before this thing moves, because I don't want to spit any more of this grease all over my engine bay. This is like the most annoying thing when you're trying to keep things nice and things keep getting like gunked up. So this will be cleaned, and then I'll replace this. But yeah, so coming in here, 2 12s at the bottom, and then the 10s that hold on the timing cover will come off, and then the few that hold this on, and I'll slide this off. I need to clean this whole area because there's a lot of RTV in there, so I'll clean it all around there, and I'll clean everything around the bottom end. And then I think I just have 2 more main caps, like this one and that one, because the girdle's off, that will be loosened, and then I'll just slip in those new bearings, because we got ones with tighter tolerances than before, because we've already measured them, so we do know the size, and so I should be able just to swap in those new ones I got without any issue. Then I'll put everything back without, I'll torque it down. I'm gonna look at the torque specs. I have a PDF of that, and I will share those with you, because I want to be as accurate as possible. And I will show what I can, but I'm holding my camera with my hand. I don't have a good tripod for this. So we just cut away, do some stuff, and come back. All right, out with the old and with the new. This will be the right one to fit in there. I'm glad I have at least this part, but I'm sad that I do not have a little rubber gasket that goes along here. So I hope it doesn't vibrate. See, because this one has it. Obviously they're not the same, so I can't transfer it over. And if I don't get this back together today, which I'm really hoping that I do, I want to stay on it, then I will order one. But if not, I'm sure it's gonna be like $50, this little strip of rubber, if it's even available from Honda. But we're moving right along, so I'm excited that we're making progress still. Here we are. Everything's out. I just need to persuade this oil pump to detach. I'm glad that we sealed it well. There was no leaks, but all the mounting hardware is off that holds this. But while I was down here, I got distracted, because I'm very easily distracted, by one of my tow hooks, like the factory ones, is bent and is touching my radiator, because we put a full-size one in here instead of the original one, instead of the stock one. And this is a stock Integra radiator. This is a Civic, so it wasn't meant to come with this, but we moved this over, drill the old one to make it fit, and so it sits just fine. But I want to take this off. While I'm thinking of a way to get this off, I was gently going at the different like little corners, like little pry tabs, to try to like give it a little bump, to try to break it free. But my housemate has the pry bar in his work truck, I think, so I'm gonna keep working on that. But I also want to get this off really bad, because I don't want to have another problem where it busts open my radiator and all my coolant drains out, and I blow this thing after all this work that we're putting in to make it awesome. So the work continues. Here we go. Oil pump is all the way off. It was sealed very well, just like with the oil filters. I make sure that this O-ring came off, because it was stuck to the block still. So all the old stuff is off. I made a video about inspecting one of these. Completely disregard what I said, because this is the one I was going through, and I said it'd be good, and it totally wasn't good. So disregard what I said about that. I hope I can find some place to maybe send this off. Maybe they could check it out, repair it, I don't know, with this. But we're looking at this clean baby right here. And so like I said, the girdle is off. It's over in that bucket. And so I took off this main cap right here, and it gave me just enough room. Just moved a little bit. I don't want to like hang on it, move on it, because the pistons are still in. I want everything just to give me enough clearance to get the bearings out, which I did. I used a little pick, from the 99-cent set from Harbor Freight, which is as good as like the much more expensive set from Snap-on for what we're doing. So I just slid it out gently. I took a little blue towel, wiped off to make sure it was clean. This is my top one. Has that little groove in it, and I think this little piece is called the tang right there, a little indent. And then this is the bottom one. The bottom one's smooth. And so my new ones are just the same. You know, bottom, new one, smooth. Top one with the tang. Or, sorry, they both have tangs. That's a little end piece. But this has the little groove in it. So I know which one's the top, which one's the bottom, and I'll put them in just the same. So this is the very end one by the oil pump, probably the easiest one. And so next ones, I'm going to try to slide out from the top. The bottoms are easy because they're in the girdle right there. And then I will put this back on and then I'll get that last one. I'll make sure that my thrust washers don't move, because those are very important, as I found out from blown motors. And I just don't want this to come all the way out through the bottom, because then I have to take the top off, take the pistons off, put the pistons back in the cylinders. I want everything to stay where it's at and just give me just enough space. So I'm going to try to slide these in and get back with that done. Well, that happened. I'm a little shocked myself. Started with the first one. I was a little unsure. But yeah, I was able to slide out that bearing away from the tang because it's all smooth. It slid out. Slid the new one in reverse. Made sure I matched everything up to the way it was, because I know I had help and it was done correctly the first time. And it was actually pretty straightforward. I was very careful not to scratch the crank or to do anything funky with the bearings. I tried to make sure that they were flush when they went in. And these main caps on the end point towards the crank. They have an arrow, and there was also some like wear naturally on there, so like I made sure it went back in the same spot. And then for the girdle piece in the middle, I made sure that it goes tang to tang, then you're ready to tango. And so yeah, they're all facing the right direction. These are all just hand tight. They have not been torqued in sequence, but I'm going to find that PDF because I have it saved to my phone because it's something important. And then I'm going to come back with a really fine wire wheel, and I want to clean up the threads on all of these and here. And then I'll give it a quick wipe down with brake cleaner, make sure it's absolutely dry, give it a couple seconds to flash off, let all that brake cleaner evaporate, which it does very quickly. And then I will come back in with RTV, put the oil pump back on. Ooh, today is going. Took a little break to find the parts I needed. Got a new axle for about 60 bucks, and I found that rubber piece that goes along here in between the cover. I ended up getting it from a Honda website because they wanted 70 bucks on eBay for it, but I found it for about 40 bucks, which is still a rip for a little piece of rubber, but I wanted to have it just in case. But I'm about to put this on. I got the RTV right there in my glove. I'm going to re-glove up, get this on. I looked up the specs on this, and so for the outside end caps, 56, and then for the inside, it's 49. And you're supposed to turn it to make sure that there's no binding, but I will do that once it's back together. At least have the oil pump on there and the crank pulley, so I have something to turn against. What else? I'm going to do that in stages. I'm not just going to go straight to 49 on the inside. And I'm also going to use kind of like a star pattern. I'm going to start on one side, go to the other, just make sure I get them all. I'll probably do that in about 3 steps. I'll probably do it in 3 steps. I'll probably start pretty low, like somewhere in the 20s, get them all at the same point, then in the 30s, then get this middle one to 49, then go to 56 on that last one. And I'll do that off camera, but I'll get it all together. And yeah, the biggest thing I think with getting those is just making sure that they were flush there and they weren't overlapping, because that's kind of what the spun bearing is like. When one bearing becomes, or 2 bearings become one, and I've had that happen on this. That's why I had to get it fixed, and we're back at this point. Well, I got called into work, so I do have to cut it here. It's supposed to be part 1, but I'm very stoked that I was able to replace the bearings, get the main caps and girdle torqued down to the proper specs. 56 on the outside, 49 in the girdle. Did that in stages. Windage trays back on. These are all 10s. Oil pickups back on with the new paper gasket. Not that those would really go bad, but I just had a new one, so I got both. This is on and torqued down actually. 17 on these 12s, 8 on the small ones. I actually did this with the torque wrench, but these I did by hand. Put this back in place so I wouldn't lose it. I will get the timing back on when my housemate is home and we have time. I've done it before with him, but I just want to make sure because that's a very crucial thing. And then we'll set the timing, get the timing cover back on. New axle will come, so we'll replace that when we get back to this. And I got this off. I will probably get a new one at the junkyard because I do want those in case I need to get towed, which happens sometimes. All right, Modified family, thanks for sticking with me. I hope I made it clear what I was doing. If you have any questions, let me know. All right, peace.